at games. Bad at games.
Cheers popping in. So here we are, Bad at Games 13. In this video you'll see exactly why my channel is called Bad at Games. It wasn't the most successful race I've ever had. We are at Autopolis, Group 3 daily race.
Chosen the Beetle, hoping at some point throughout the race it would transform and shoot the crap out of all the other cars, give me a bit of a fighting chance.
Starting on a corner is never ideal, as you're about to see. As soon as the auto drive releases me and I can start the race, then I lose all traction and I forget to change gear. Eventually I figure myself out. By the time I get onto the straight, I've lost a bit of speed. I've dropped a little bit further behind 13 than I would have liked, and 15 is gaining on me, so by the end of lap 1 I will lose a position.
As we head in to turn 1, you'll come up the inside. It's a fair move. As we come round, bit of commotion, someone's gone off, thankfully they ghosted. Ghosting being the most hit and miss feature in the game. Coming up side by side into turn 2. I back off, let him take it. Don't want to be responsible for punting someone off on the first lap, which happens to me many a time.
Being a 10 lap race is about concentration and consistency, two things I lack massively, as you'll find out on lap 1, lap 2, and we'll see what other mistakes I make.
Everyone seems fairly spread just at the moment. Coming up to a nice sharp bend, this is often where I get slammed up the rear, but managed to get round safely. Taking a position. Coming down, I always get this corner wrong. I try and drop it into 4th and just sort of coast round, touching the curbs and swing it back in. Drop it down to 3rd so I don't ram. And here we go. First lap, biggest mistake. Happy days. Welcome to the gravel pit. And reset. Completely stopped. Luckily my racing cam was muted, otherwise you would have heard some horrendous swearing. No one to blame but myself, just wasn't paying attention. Like to give myself more work to do. Back down to 17th. Let's see what we can get here. Whilst we've got a second, no one around, what's everyone's views on the ghosting system? I would rather it be all or nothing. I hate it when people ghost and then as you get to them they unghost. I hate it when they don't ghost when you think they should ghost. I just wish it was consistent and it was just a case of everyone ghosting or no one ghosting at all. If no one's ghosting, at least you're prepared for it. Makes it a bit more exciting, I think, as well when people are coming back on. The penalty system is massively flawed. I don't think they'll ever get it right in this game. There was another race I did where I went through someone that was ghosted as they came back on the track, and I got a 1-second penalty for car collision.
Currently following Vin Diesel. He's about to do some cheeky little power slides. Cut across, cuts back out. Happy days.
Some penalties spotted up ahead. I think a system that they should implement would be if you get 3 penalties in a race, then you get disqualified. Some of the penalties are unfair and unjustified, so it is a bit of a tricky one to get right.
But it might just make people think twice before cutting up the inside or just smashing you from behind straight off the track.
Gone off again. Forgot I did this 2 laps in a row. I just really like that corner. So that's a bit of fun. Let's try not to do it on the remaining 8 laps. Here we go. Back down to 16th again. Just giving myself some more work to do. On the replay camera you'll see 2 Beetles going side by side. I'm just sort of thinking, oh dear, corner's coming up, is he going to dive bomb, is he going to slam into me, am I going off? I brake a little bit earlier than I normally would. He brakes as well, thankfully, and we go round nice and gentlemanly. Very sportsmanship-like. See these cars up ahead having a little bit of a battle. I'm sort of gaining on them, thinking I don't really want to be. Here we go. This is always a bit of fun. You never know. Someone gets frustrated with someone else, takes it out on you. Here we go. Closes the gap. I'll back off a little bit. Take him on the inside.
My modest setup is just a G29 racing wheel, Logitech, with the pedals. I have the shifter, which I can't seem to ever get working on Gran Turismo. It's attached to a X-Rocker stand, which does the job. It's fairly adjustable, so I can get it fairly comfy. I used to sit in my armchair and play this. Now just life of luxury, sitting on the sofa.
So we're coming up to the infamous corner, the one I really like to go off at. Let's see if I can remember to brake and actually turn the wheel. Well, someone else didn't. Here we go, ghosting, unghosting. Keep it consistent. I don't know where he went. He just suddenly went off. It didn't look like he got hit by anyone, and this guy in front didn't get a penalty. So I think he must have just spun. Taking him on the inside. Another one's gone off, gaining some positions. And another lap to be completed. So that was a much better lap. I was happy with that. Took advantage of some people's mistakes. Didn't make too many myself. Hoping not to get punted again on turn 1. Everyone seems to be quite polite at the moment. So this race does have tyre wear and fuel consumption on. The fuel consumption, I really didn't see the point. You don't have to pit at all.
The tyre wear, especially in the Beetle, didn't seem to have too much of an effect. I ended the race with maybe not even a quarter of the tyres worn.
Group 3 is definitely my favourite category of car. Track-wise, I don't really have a favourite. There's a few I'm fairly decent at, this not being one of them. I believe a new track's just been released with the latest update. Yet to try it out. I'll have to give that a go next.
And here we go. Textbook this time. Happy with this. Gaining on those ahead. Unfortunately, getting onto the straight, I'm way out of the slipstream. No advantage there. Just got to put pedal to the metal. And here we go, back to turn 1. So around about here, I'm guessing someone must have quit the race, because suddenly I go from 12th to 11th, but I didn't see anyone go off and I didn't go past anyone, I don't believe. These two up front, gaining on them, they're having a little bit of a battle which slows them both down. That I'll use to my advantage. These corners I don't mind, take them in third, pretty much take them as quick as I can, and then this one I drop down to second. I always get the apex wrong. I never go out wide enough, I never cut in hard enough. This corner, I'm always indecisive. I normally put it up to 4th, and then as I get round, I feel I need to drop it down to 3rd.
As it turns out, this is probably the best at taking this corner.
So someone's gone off on this turn, so that puts me 10th position, which I'm happy about. So that started in 14th, went down as far as 17th, got back up to 10th. I'll be happy if I'm in the top 10 by the end of the race. Going around these bends, gaining on these two. Got to sort of read their line, wondering where they're going to go. They take it a little bit differently than to what I would. I go a bit wide here so I can swing it back in, hoping they would go wide here. Cut in. He's gone. That's a shame. That was a good little bit of racing. Followed them for half a lap. It's a shame when you see him completely spin out, because you know his race is done for now. So here we go. I'm out of the slipstream range, which is a shame, because if the other guy hadn't spun out, I would have been right in the slipstream. So we're now up to 9th, starting lap 6. So this is progressing very nicely. I'm happy with this. Turn 1, success. Gaining on P8. These next set of corners I think are my favourite on this track. Except this corner. Every lap. I feel I get that wrong. I need to watch the pros replays, and then they'll just show me that I'm taking every single corner wrong. But hey, we've got to start somewhere. So consistency is key. Just get in the corners. Don't start rushing it. He starts to twitch a little bit. Down to 4th, swing it round, caught right up, so now this is no place to overtake unless he makes a mistake. So suddenly he brakes hard, he must have got that wrong going in. I nudge him, but thankfully there's no penalty. I sort of back off a little bit. Let's get the rest of these corners done neatly. I'll hopefully catch back up by the straight. This corner I just drop it down to 3rd, sort of run my tyres along the curb. See, it starts to spin a little bit. Strangely, when you look at the replay camera, he goes into the pits. I don't know if that was a deliberate decision, but if you can see, I've got over half my fuel. My tyres are barely worn, and I'm now on lap 7. Looking at the split for 7th position, 17 seconds. But as you'll see, that goes down very quickly, so I'm assuming there must have been a spin out. He's now dropped down, and I can now see him, he's in sight. So it gives me something else to aim for, because 17 seconds, I wouldn't be making that up in a lap. Got a nice little gap in front and behind, so I can afford to not take it easy, but not be distracted by other people's racing lines. I get that a lot. If someone's in front of me, I find myself watching the car in front instead of the track itself. So their mistake ends up being my mistake. Coming round to the corners where I went off on the first 2 laps, you'll see that I nearly did it again. I forget to brake, realise where I am, and just touch the curb. I think I dodged a bullet there. If that rear wheel had hit that grass, I would have spun right out. We've got just over 4 seconds ahead and 10 seconds behind, so I could probably afford one slight mistake and still keep my position. Coming up, I felt I cut this corner, and if you look at the wheel cam, I cover my face just waiting for the penalty to appear. But thankfully, there was no penalty. I was very surprised. I thought I definitely took the neck on that corner.
Right, if you've made it this far into the video, I'm going to put you out your misery. I end the race 8th, so we basically got 2 laps of me being behind by quite a few seconds and in front by quite a few seconds. I don't make any severe mistakes. They're not the quickest laps, not the best laps, but they were consistent, and it brought me back to 8th. So I started the race in 14th. At one point I was down to 17th, brought it back to 8th.
Alright, you're still here. Well, thanks for watching. Feel free to stick around to the end. Nothing fantastic happens. You'll just see my Punisher costume on the podium. Well, not quite the podium, but stood next to my car at least out in the parking lot. Take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one.